I'm proud to announce that the natural forehead extender that I have been using has been working. My forehead has grown 3 sizes in the last 2 weeks. Why does everyone hate moose blood? What is going on, my mates? Hope everyone's doing very well today. Today we're going to be talking about moose blood, one of Twitter's absolute favorite bands. Not favorite in a positive way, in a very negative way. We're going to be talking about moose blood. Not everyone hates moose blood, but there is a lot of hatred towards this band, and I think a lot of people are kind of confused on why, because I know that there's just this general hatred for them, which is totally cool, dude. You're allowed to hate things, but I feel like it's not exactly very clear. So I wish to clear up any misinformation. In this video, there are a few points that I want to touch on. There is a reason for me making this video. The first point, like I said, that I want to touch on is I want to clear any misinformation, just get the facts out there as close as we can get to the truth without actually, having been there and seen the situation. I also wish to talk about cancel culture because I personally think it's absolutely out of control right now. I'm not just talking about in music, I'm talking about everywhere, literally everywhere, even in this parking lot, dude. We will also briefly touch on separating the art from the artist, as well as criticizing others for their music choices. When did all this start for Moose Blood? When did it happen? What was it? Well, I got the answer for you, dude. Early 2017, so just about 2 years ago, nearly exactly 2 years ago, something came out about their drummer, right? There were some Facebook messages with this girl that he was messaging, and he sent an unsolicited picture of his genitals to a person, and he was eventually kicked out of the band. And that's not really why people hate Moose Blood, unless I'm completely wrong. But the reason that I say that is because after they kicked him out, everything seemed to be fine. That's the way that it looked like to me. They were like, all right, we're going to be a band now, got a new drummer, whatever, smooth sailing. But when the allegations about the drummer came out, there were also some about the singer that just literally weren't addressed. In these videos, I try my best to acknowledge both sides of the argument. So essentially, one reason why people think that they didn't address the allegations in the first place against the lead singer anyway, as the drummer allegations were coming out, is because they didn't even want to give credence to those claims, even get them out there, because they were just so absolutely false. That is one school of thought. Moving over to the next school of thought, people think, oh, they just kicked out the drummer really quick, so whatever, they could sweep these allegations under the rug because this stuff did happen for sure, and they just wanted to make sure that it never got out. Those are the two schools of thought. And at the end of this video, I'll kind of say what I think about this whole situation, but moving forward to the next part of the tale. In August or September of the last year, as in 2018, Moose Blood was announced as direct support for Good Charlotte, because Good Charlotte dropped a new album last year. Good Charlotte went to tour to support it. Moose Blood also dropped an album in 2018. It sucked. Let's rewind for just 2 seconds. So in the summer, Movements pulled off of a Moose Blood tour, right? Because some of the Movements fans were like, hey guys, we don't think this is right. We know how you guys are as a band, what you like to support, etc. So Movements was like, all right, we are gonna drop off this tour. And when they dropped off the tour, I really think that's what made the allegations kind of start floating to the surface again. And then going back to the Good Charlotte tour, it was announced September, August time. Good Charlotte eventually kicked Moose Blood off of the tour, right? They're like, we can't have a band like this touring with us. That brings us to the question of what allegations were made against the lead singer of Moose Blood that made Good Charlotte go, oh yeah, we're not gonna touch y'all with a 10-foot pole. Well, I'll tell you literally right now. So I'll say in 2016 or prior to that, Moose Blood ended up staying at this girl's house. I would assume she was a fan of the band. She was like, hey, you guys are on tour, you want to stay at my house so you don't have to sleep in your van, whatever, or buy a hotel? And they're like, dude, yes, we would love to stay at your place. At some point when the band was staying at this girl's house, they got her Wi-Fi password, great, whatever. And then I don't even know how this went down, but apparently somehow the lead singer got this girl's nude photos or something on the band's WhatsApp. It's like a messaging thing, I don't even know. But what he did allegedly was he got the photos, right? And then he's like, oh cool, nude photos of someone, let's share them with the entire band. That was what was alleged to have happened, and that is still what is alleged to happen to this day. Did it happen? I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't say for sure. But I do think that people don't exactly know what the word allegation or allegations mean. So I'm just going to read off of dictionary.com because I think that's something that we can all kind of agree agree on. Dictionary.com provides pretty accurate definitions. So an allegation is a claim or assertion that someone has done something illegal or wrong, typically one made without proof. And what does typically mean? Typically means in most cases. So in this case, was there proof? Now, feel free to correct me if I am wrong. I genuinely mean that. I would like to be wrong about this, but the only piece of evidence that I saw during this time was that the girl made a tweet saying that it happened and that it happened for sure and that they did it. That was the only piece of evidence that I have seen to this day. Again, I hope to be wrong. Please prove me wrong. But if I'm not, that is what I know of to this day. A tweet. Multiple tweets have been made about it. I'll say this, Mooseblood is 100% guilty of one thing for sure, no arguments. They have a very crappy PR team. Clearly, because when the allegations about the drummer came out that ended up being true or deemed as true and he was kicked out, I personally think what should have happened was they should have addressed the allegations about the singer, squashed them as soon as possible, assuming that they didn't happen. And what Mooseblood is saying is accurate. Again, we're assuming, I'm not saying this is true, we're going off of assumptions here. Assuming it's not true, I think what should have happened was they should have just squashed him right away. And I get the school of thought, don't even give credence to these claims or even bring them up in the first place. But look, dude, it's Twitter, it's Instagram, it's social media. No matter what, these are not ever going to go away, whether they are addressed or not. They're always going to be there. So might as well just hit it with a hammer, destroy it. People can think what they want. If they believe it's true, they believe it's true. If they don't, they don't. You know what I mean? For me personally, I've never understood this, especially with band allegations and all that stuff. If something didn't happen, if you didn't do something, if someone alleged something against you and you didn't do it, why can't you just say, I didn't do it right away? Look, I know the label has to get involved, bigger bands have management, etc. Why can't the band just be like, yo guys, like I literally didn't do this. Can I just go online and be like, yo, like I didn't do it? And like the longer that it takes for a band, artist, etc. to respond, the sketchier and weirder it looks. Is that evidence that they did it or didn't do it? Absolutely not. That would not hold up in a court of law whatsoever in any way. But it does look sketchy to the general public, no matter how you look at it. For example, let's say someone went online and said something about me. They said, hey, in 2014, I saw Nate at a Knuckle Puck show at Chain Reaction. He walked up to me. He was just so angry. He walked up, he grabbed my arm without my permission and gave me the world's nastiest Indian burn. It irritated my skin. I still have a scar to this day. I'd be like, dude, I didn't do that. I haven't done that since like 3rd grade. I have a couple questions for you, just you in general. You can either answer these questions to yourself in your head or type them below and start your own discussion, whatever. Are you willing to cancel a band without evidence and only a tweet? Just kind of like what happened with Mooseblood. Keep in mind, there's not a right or a wrong answer. There is only your opinion. Next logical question would be, what are the grounds for cancellation? What is cancel-worthy? What is not cancel-worthy in terms of scandals? Like, oh, this band member spit on me, or this band member violated me, and then everything in between. Like, what is, what isn't? I feel like that's a very fair question. I feel like we really just need to come up with a standard procedure for dealing with these things. Let's say a band is deemed cancel-worthy based off of some criteria that we have agreed upon. This is all hypothetical, by the way. Do we boycott the label that the band is on if the record label does not immediately drop that band from their label? Does that sound extreme? Yeah, sure, maybe. Ultimately, it's up to you, but I do think that it is absolutely imperative that we be consistent with our thoughts and our arguments. As you are answering these questions to yourself in your head, or if you decide to go the extra mile and comment down below, I want you to keep this in mind, and that is form your own individual opinion based on your own thoughts. Don't worry about what other people are going to think. Only worry about what you think, because that's what's the most important. Your own thoughts and feelings and arguments that you create in your own head based on how you feel, what you think, and the facts that you've gathered. That is so important. Individuality is so important. Finally, let's briefly touch on separating the art from the artist, as well as criticizing others for the music that they choose to listen to or not listen to. There is not a right or wrong answer to this question. If you can separate the art, great. If you can't, great. Despite what the people on Twitter tell you, they have that toxic gang mentality and that woke status, no matter what they tell you, trust me, there is not a wrong answer to this. They may tell you, hey, based on my opinion that I derived this fact, it's not okay, it's immoral. My opinion that is now a fact is that it's immoral. No, not the case. You cannot take your opinion, say that it's a fact, and then say that that fact is a fact, because it's not. It's your opinion. There's not a right or wrong answer to this question. There's this really funny thing that's been going on the last few years, especially on Twitter. Twitter is rampant with this. People criticizing other people for the music that they either listen to or choose not to listen to. And I think that is absolutely ridiculous. The notion that you can quantify even any amount of someone's character based on what they listen to or don't listen to is preposterous. It is absurd, makes no sense at all. And to be consistent with my arguments and to be fair, that is my opinion. If for whatever reason you think that criticizing someone and quantifying someone's character based off music that they do or do not listen to makes sense, that is totally your prerogative, and you may comment that down below, and I'd love to talk about it. The biggest thing that I want to get across as far as separating art from artist and criticizing others for their music choices, the biggest thing is individuality. Make your own choices. No matter what anyone says, do not let them influence your thoughts and opinions on a topic. Form your own. If you choose to let them influence you, that's great. That is your own decision. But do not ever put your opinion out there that's based on someone else's opinion just because you think it's either the right thing to do or will make you more popular somehow. Now, how do I feel about this situation? Do I think it happened? Do I think it didn't happen? Well, as previously stated, I wasn't there, so I don't know. I can never say for sure it did happen or for sure it didn't happen. But I will say this. If you are on the side of we must believe this person blindly because it's already hard enough for people to come forward, I get that. I understand that. That makes sense to me. But to acknowledge the other side, do I think that it's right that a band's career, dreams, livelihood can be ripped out from under them based on literally no evidence besides a tweet? I don't necessarily think that's right. That doesn't make sense to me either. Based on the way that the justice system is ran in the United States of America, Moose Blood would be considered not guilty at this point. However, I know that has little to nothing to do with the public opinion of Moose Blood, and I think that's what matters the most when we're talking about whether or not they should or are able to continue as a band, because ultimately it's up to the people, right? Here's my take on that. If Moose Blood is somehow proven 100% innocent, they didn't do any of this stuff, they are free men, they're good to go. Let's say that's the case. I personally do not believe that they would ever be able to be a band again just because there's such a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Oh, Moose Blood, ugh, disgusting. So I don't really know. Even if they are proven innocent, they probably won't ever really be able to be the same band that they were before. It's kind of like when a person is falsely accused of the R word. I'm not going to say it. I respect everyone, don't want to trigger anyone, but I think that it's incredibly hard, even if you're proven innocent, to kind of evade or escape that for the rest of your life. Like I said, even if you're proven innocent, it's always gonna be like, oh yeah, that was the guy that had the blank allegations directed at him. They weren't true, but that word, the R word, is always gonna be associated with your name. Even if it's, oh, the R word, and they didn't do that, either way, still gonna have that association. My mates, thank you so much for watching this video. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you love me? Do you hate me? I hope this reaches more than just my subscriber base and blows up, because I do wish for this to start a discussion. Even if I end up being hated for it, that's totally okay. All I wish from this video is to start a discussion. Whether it's negative, positive, I just think all of this is something that needs to be talked about. So if you saw this video and were like, I either love this so much I want to share it, or I hate it so much that I want to share it, go ahead, share it. Share it everywhere. Even like, just call your grandma and be like, this guy that I follow on YouTube dropped a banger. Just let him know. Once again, I hope everyone has an outstanding balance of their day, and I will see you today.